Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. J. Sheila, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmacology, SLIMS. So today I'm going to discuss about broad spectrum antibiotics. There are two agents comes in broad spectrum antibiotics. One is tetracycline, another one is a chloramphenicol. So tetracycline is a broad spectrum antibiotics used against many organisms such as gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, protozoa, chlamydia, rickettsia, etc. Aureomycins, otherwise called as chlorotetracycline, was the first tetracycline isolated from a soil fungus called Streptomyces aeruginosa. The other tetracyclines derived later were tetracycline, um, Streptomyces rhinosus, oxytetracyclines, dimethylchlorotetracyclines, methacillin, doxycycline, and minocycline. Tetracyclines are effective against the following microorganisms: gram-positive organisms such as Enterococcus faecalis, Enterococcus faeciums, Streptococcus pneumoniae, Streptococcus pyogenes, Streptococcus viridans, Staphylococci, Bacillus anthracis, Listeria monocytogenes. Antimicrobial activity of tetracycline. So it also involved in gram-negative organism, Brucella, Campylobacter jejuni, Haemophilus ducreyi, Haemophilus influenzae, Rancilla tularensis, Neisseria gonococci, Vibria cholerae, Essina pestis, Klebsiella, Acidobacter, E. coli, Shigella, Enterobacter, and H. pylori infections. Chlamydial organisms such as Chlamydia psittaci, Chlamydia trachomatis, and rickettsias such as Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Q fever, murine typhus, scrub typhus, epidemic typhus. So from this spectrum of activity, we have come to a conclusion that this drug has been given for the wide variety of infections. So because of in and out use of these drugs, this developed the resistance. So slowly, in a graded manner, resistance has become achieved, and this make the bacteria to become less efficient to the tetracyclines. And also there is a pump is also, that is a cannot, that is efflux pump is also become more, and it being effluxed out. So because of this resistance, this is not the organism become less efficient to these agents. What is the mechanism of action of tetracycline? So this will bind reversibly to the 60S ribosomal RNA of 30S ribosomal unit and inhibit the bacterial protein synthesis. So this will enter the cytoplasm of gram-positive organism by an energy-dependent process by using ATP dependence. So this will enter into the gram-positive organism, and in case of gram-negative organisms, it will enter through the outer membrane pores. Okay. What is the mechanism of action here is, so we have a 250s and 30s ribosome, and in between we have mRNA template. We have a two site, one is a P site and other one is A site. P site is otherwise called as a peptide site, and A site is otherwise called as acceptor site. Acceptor site nothing but that is a new amino acid RNA is been comes in acceptor. So this site will accept the new amino acid. So what happens is the acids, the amino acid is present in the piece is called nasal peptide chain. So that has been transported to the A site, acceptor site, and from this transfer, so because of the tRNA, it has been transferred. And what happens is, so this will make the acceptor site to accept a new amino acids. So whenever the new amino acids comes and attached to the nascent peptide site with the help of the tRNA, that is a transfer RNA, and what happens is this will become a codon for the attachment of the new amino acids. So once the nascent peptide site, sorry, nascent peptide, that amino acids along with the new amino acid attachment. So what happens is with the help of the tRNA, this will be again transferred to the peptide site. So this will make the acceptor site to free for the attachment of the new amino acids. So once then the nasal peptide change, the new amino acid is present P site, this will effluxed out. This will comes out through the B sites for the protein synthesis, everything. And this will become free. Again, the same process has been occurring. So what happens is this tetracycline go and bind, inhibit the tRNA. So what happens is the transfer of the amino acids from the A site to the P site will become restricted, will become inhibited. So automatically the protein synthesis is also being inhibited. So from this we can come to know that this tetracycline has got a bacteriostatic effect rather than the bactericidal. So it means that it inhibits the protein synthesis, so that by the replication of the reproduction of the near organism is also been inhibited. So this is the ground behind the tetracycline mechanism of action. We'll come to the pharmacokinetics of tetracycline. Adequately but incompletely absorbed by a oral route with 95% absorption from minocycline and doxycycline. So they form complexes that is called chelating action with divalent metals like calcium, magnesium, aluminum, and iron salts. And absorption is delayed when you take with milk containing calciums. Milk is because it contains calciums, and also antacid contains aluminum, calcium, or oral iron preparation. So this will chelates. So this agent's absorption has been retarded. It been reduced when you take along with the tetracyclines. And also it has got a plasma protein binding of 40 to 80%. So this will get widely distributed in the many body parts. However, they do not enter into the CSF. Minocycline reaches a very high concentrations in tears and saliva, so thereby being useful in the meningococcal infections. And also, this most of tetracyclines are excreted via urine, that is by glomerular filtrations. These drugs will get excreted out. So and also these drugs has the dose has to be adjusted according, because in case of renal failure what will happen, as I said, so these agents will get excreted via urine. So in case of renal failure it cannot be excreted out. So and also being is partly metabolized and is excreted via bile. So this will get accumulated in the body, will end up into the intended renal failures. So the renal big failure become worsen. So what happens? You have to dose adjustment has to be needed in case of any renal failure. And also, so this tetracyclines will produce a syndrome called as a Fanconi syndrome. So what happens is, so this tetracyclines undergo your degradations. So that is called degradation products like epitetracyclines and oxytetracycline. In case of renal failure, so what happens, these agents will not be released or the concentration has been increased. So that will end up into the syndrome, Fanconi syndrome. So what happens, that will damage proximal tubules. So it become worsen. So we have to think of a Fanconi syndrome in case of a tetracyclines. And it also binds to the calcifying bones and dentins and enamel of the unerupted teeth. So that's what whenever is given during the pregnancy. And also children and also the mother in a lactating mother. So it will get excreted via milk, so that will end up into the, so that will develop a unerupted teeth and also will produce a brown discoloration of the teeth. Pharmacokinetics. Chlortetracycline 30% is absorbed and route of administration is oral, and the half-life is 6 hours, and the plasma protein binding is 50%, and the dose is 250 to 500 milligram 6 hourly can be given. Tetracycline is 75% is absorbed and the route is oral, and IM and IV can also be given. Half-life is 8 hours. The plasma protein binding is 55%. The dose is 250 to 500 milligram 6 hourly, and 100 milligram IM, IV or 6 hourly. Oxytetracycline is called 30 to 40% is being absorbed. The route of administration is oral, IM and IV. The half-life is 9 hours. Plasma protein binding is 85%. The dose is 250 to 500 milligram 6 hourly. 100 milligram IM, IV can be given as a 6 hourly dosage. Then doxycycline, so it is absorbed 93%. Look at the minocycline also. So those will get absorbed 90, above 90% has been absorbed. And the doxycycline is available as oral and IV preparations. Half-life is also more. It has got 16 hours half-life, and the plasma protein binding is also more. It has got 80% plasma protein binding. So you can give us a 200 milligram as a start on the first day, and 100 milligram can be given on the subsequent days in case of twice daily preparations. And minocycline, so 95% oral, 16 hours half-life, and 75% plasma protein binding, 200 milligram on the first day and 100 milligram on the subsequent days can be given. So this tabular column shows the absorption and dosage. What are the clinical use of tetracycline? So it is commonly used in case of a mycoplasma infections, ricket cell infections, trachoma, inclusion conjunctivitis, sexually transmitted disease such as lymphogranuloma venereum, and complicated urethral, endocervical, rectal infections caused by chlamydia trachomatis, chancroid, and acute epididymitis. Chlamydial infections such as chlamydia pneumoniae, psittacosis, and brucellosis, tularemia, cholera, plague, amoebiasis, prophylaxis of malaria, meningitis, and acne. So these are the wide variety uses of the tetracycline management. And so we cannot think that this tetracycline is a substitute for beta lactam antibiotics. No, it is not the substitute for the beta lactam antibiotics, and also this drug is not effective against the different strains of streptococci, and is also not effective against in case of UTI caused by the Pseudomonas aerogenes. Adverse effects of tetracyclines, GA effects. I think you all know that GA effects, nausea, vomiting will be there, diarrhea will be there, including the suppression of a normal intestinal flora and overgrowth of the Pseudomonas, Proteus, Staphylococci, resistant coliforms, and Candida. So this will call it as a pseudomembranous colitis. What happens is that's a normal commensal which is present in the intestines that has been destroyed by giving the antibiotics. We'll call it as an antibiotic associated diarrhea. So it's called pseudomembranous colitis. So this end up into the development of the growth of Clostridium difficile. So you can start with a vancomycin or metronidazole. So that should be very effective against the diarrhea, that is antibiotic associated diarrhea, and effects on bones and teeth. So since tetracycline has got a chelating property, so this calcium tetracycline chelates will get deposited in the developing teeth and bones. That's what has been contraindicated during pregnancy, and also children's who has been from she's been less than 6 years. You cannot give this tetracyclines because this will affect the crown of the permanent anterior dentitions. So the crown will get affected. So that it end up with the brownish discoloration of the teeth, and also form a ill-formed teeth will be there, and which also produces a caries. So these all will be the effects of tetracycline because the main thing is it has got a chelating action with the calcium, and also to end up into the retardation of the bone growth. So bone growth is also being reduced. And phototoxicity. Phototoxicity is mainly it's like a photo. It is like a sunburn like lesions. Okay, so mainly this has been seen in the demiclocycline and the doxycycline drugs, and also when you see the nails, so it also undergone a distortion. So distortion can be seen in the nails when you are giving a demiclocycline and doxycycline. So most commonly this phototoxicity is commonly seen in the exposed parts. And hepatotoxicity, so this will fatty infiltration will be there. Fatty infiltration in the liver and the jaundice, it can occur occasionally. The main thing is oxytetracycline and tetracycline are safer in case of a hepatotoxicity. So we can give, and this is very risky in the pregnant woman. Okay, and also this will produce a fatal acute hepatic necrosis. So you have to be very careful whenever we are giving a tetracycline group of drugs in case of a liver failure. And also renal toxicity, as I said, so that will produce a kidney damage because there is a tetracycline degrader products called as epitetracycline and oxytetracycline cannot be excreted out in case of renal failure. So that will end up into the damage of the proximal tubules, and patient will have a it will worsen. The renal failure condition will become worsen when you start with the tetracycline. So that term is called as a Fanconi syndrome. What is the drug interactions of tetracyclines? So antacids and ion preparations. Tetracycline chelate aluminum, calcium, magnesium, and iron salts. So that produce insoluble salts and reduce their absorptions. And anticonvulsants such as carbamazepine, phenytoin, barbiturates, and alcohol reduced half-life of tetracyclines. Oral contraceptives, it reduced the conjugate estrogen levels. It also been reduced. And penicillin, that would interfere with the bactericidal actions of penicillin. When you come on tetracycline, penicillin bactericidal action has been interfered. We'll come to the chloramphenicol. It is our next agents comes in the broad spectrum antibiotics. Bacteriostatic antibiotic. This is also one of the bacteriostatic effect which is obtained from Streptomyces penicilliae. What is the antimicrobial spectrum? Haemophilus influenza, Neisseria meningitis, Neisseria gonorrhoeae, Brucella species, Bordetella pertussis, Salmonella, Shigella, Vibrio cholerae, Chlamydia rickettsii, and anaerobic bacteria, gram-negative rods, including the Bacillus fragilis, E. coli, Klebsiella pneumoniae, Proteus mirabilis, and Streptococcus. So these are the antimicrobial spectrum for chloramphenicol. What is the mechanism action of chloramphenicol? Same like tetracycline, it also inhibits the protein synthesis in bacteria, binding to the 50S ribosomal subunit, which is in close proximity to the binding sites of macrolide and clindamycin. So in case of a tetracycline, this bone binds to the 30S ribosomes, but in case of chloramphenicol, that will binds with the 50S ribosomal subunit. Therapeutic uses is bacterial meningitis caused by Haemophilus influenza, Neisseria meningitis, and Streptococcus pneumoniae. Typhoid fever. This was the one of the drug which has been used for typhoid fever in and out. So because of upcoming of your cephalosporins and quinalo group of drugs, so we are not using chloramphenicol. So this has been commonly used for the typhoid fever. Rickettsial infections, anaerobic infections, any abscess. So think of anaerobics. So start with the chloramphenicol, brucellosis, pertussis, and topical use for ocular, any in case of a conjunctivitis or corneal ulcers, and middle ear bacterial infections like otitis externa, otitis interna, okay, any otitis infections in otitis media. So the topical use of chloramphenicol will be very, very effective for those kind of infections. Then adverse effects of chloramphenicol. So the main thing is they develop a hematological effects and they have a gastrointestinal effects. And also it produces a toxicity in newborn infants such as a gray baby syndrome. What is a gray baby syndrome? So normally in case of a liver, in case of a newborn liver is immature liver. It cannot able to glucuronate the higher concentration of chloramphenicol. Since it is immature, the glucuronation will become incomplete. So what happens is cannot be metabolized properly. There may be accumulations of the chloramphenicol that will end up into the gray baby syndrome. The child become lethargic, the child becomes sluggish, so they'll not feed properly, they become cyanosed, so color is also being changed. So this is called as a gray baby syndrome, mainly due to the improper, incomplete glucuronation of the chloramphenicol in the liver. So that will end up into the gray baby syndromes. So this is like it's a rare with potential fatal toxic effects of inability of the liver to glucuronate the drug effectively in the first couple of weeks of life if correct doses is not given. So in that cases, it will baby will develop a gray baby syndrome. So look at here, there is a lethargic eyes, pale or blue skins. Baby will be sluggish, so will not feed properly, they will not cry properly. So think of a great baby syndrome. Thank you.